Hi everybody, I want to do a little string test, and we're going to use all plastic ukuleles since we have the Makala Waterman, which comes with the Aquila Super Nile Gut strings. That will be one sample. Another sample then will be the Makala Waterman with Martin M600s, which are fluorocarbon. All the rest of the ukuleles will have Martin M600 fluorocarbons. They will all be plastic ukuleles. One will be the outdoor ukulele. One will be vintage McAfee Islander. One will be the Woody brand ukulele, all with M600. So there will only be one with the Aquila Super Nile Guts. There will be two sound samples from that with the Waterman. Okay, they will be a blind sample. And with that, what that's going to mean is before I play the ukulele and the little riff that I'm going to do, what you will see is this with me, and it will be like that. Whoops, put it over. It's going to look like that. So you won't be able to see me playing because I'm going to blind the camera. And but what you're going to hear is me playing, and I'm going to play about this far away. Now this is just going into a MacBook Pro with its condenser mic. I'm not doing anything fancy here. No reverb, no extra amplification. I'm probably 6 feet away, so I'm in the middle of this door. Get my geometry here, or my placement for myself, so I know where I'm at, equal with every ukulele. So I'm probably 6 feet away from a condenser mic on the MacBook Pro. Now everybody ends up asking, I shouldn't say everybody, but usually someone will ask, what am I playing when I'm doing that sound sample? So here's what I'm going to do. Two different song sheets you can get for these little riffs, and one is She's the Most, and I'm going to be playing that. It's a C diminished, D minor 7, G7, C diminished, D minor 7, G7, C7, F, C diminished, C, G7, C. Okay, that's what I'll be playing for one riff. The other song, or the other little riff I'll be playing is a song sheet that you can get, a little riff exercise that I made called Waikiki Shepherd or Choral C6, and it sounds like this, and you can get the sheet if you want to. So this will be the second sound sample that each ukulele will play. Now, just for your information, this will not be in the running. This is not a plastic ukulele. This is a cedar top, rosewood sides and back, custom K-Pasa Josephine model. This does have M600 strings on it. Why do I have Martin M600 strings? I happen to like them. They're fluorocarbon, and they're readily accessible through my local music store, which I tend to buy. Every time I go in there, I'll buy a pack, whether I need them or not at the time, because I want to show them some business. So, and I like them. The only uke that I have Aquilas on are a couple of McAfee Islanders that I do have Aquilas on. Otherwise, I tend to think plastic ones sound better with the Martin M600 fluorocarbons. And this one really buzzes, really goes to town with them on. But because they're readily accessible, that's what I'll get. Another great string. I really like Living Waters, but they're a little tougher for me to get. And so I try to show business to my local music store by getting the Martin M600s. So there you have it. Now on to the sound samples. Okay, now this may have been an exercise in ukulele nerddom as far as string sounds go, but we had our 5 different samples, right? We had our Waterman with both Aquila and M600s. We had our vintage Macaferry. We had a Woody, and we had a outdoor ukulele with the M600 Martin M600 strings. I don't have a lot of plastic ukuleles. I love the Islanders, and I've just kind of focused on those. So some of you who have other ukes, I know. I think Alan likes the Bugs Gear. I think is what he really likes. Um, they'll do some sound samples, I'm sure, comparing it to some of the other plastic ukuleles, and you'll see really how nerdy we get when we start comparing all that stuff. But I thought you might like to see how, at least with the M600s, how they sound different, or which ukes might sound different, or how even the Waterman may sound different with different strings. So here's the unveiling. If you were going 1 through 5 on your ukulele's sound guesses, which one you liked best. The number 1 ukulele that I played was my outdoor ukulele. And this is like a first generation outdoor. It didn't even have the logo on it. And this has been riding around in my car for 2 years in Minnesota. So temperatures varying from 20 below to inside the car. In the summer it would get 140 inside the car. So that kind of temperature variance, and I never have a problem with it. Same strings for those 2 years. So keep that in mind when you're listening to it. And they have their haters, but I would not put a wood ukulele what I put through this one. So that was the number 1 ukulele, is my outdoor uke. The number 2 uke that I played was a Woody, and frankly I hadn't played this one for quite a while. It was in my closet. This is the one I called Tennessee Tuxedo. A friend gave me this one. And this has got the, like I say, the M600 strings on. Some have said that their fret paint is wore off, but I haven't even played this one enough to wear the fret paint off. Not like the Waterman. The Waterman really came off. Like I say, the one weird thing about the Woody is the unusual 0 fret placement way away from the nut there. It's quite a gap, but it's still playable, so it's still a good sounding uke, and you can see how it has that built-out sound ring. Like the Waterman. So the number 3 ukulele I played then is a vintage Martin. This is an unusual, or not a Martin, vintage Macaferry. And the unusual thing with this one is it's the only one I've seen with a white fretboard and a white bridge plate and colored otherwise. Usually they have the cream color top and a darker, like a rosewood or whatever, colored fingerboard. So that's the only big deal about this one. Otherwise, it's an Islander, and that was the 3rd one I played. So that was the Mac. Number 3 was the Mac. So that leaves us up with number 4 being the Waterman. And I ran it right in number 4 being with the Aquila strings. And I can't give you the sound sample on that because it was already on there. Number 4 was with the Aquila strings, okay? And now it's the Waterman with the Martin M600s. Let me just make sure it's still in tune here. I just played it a minute ago. So they haven't been on here very long, a couple hours. But I was playing this out on the front step, enjoying the sunny afternoon, and I thought it sounded better. I don't know if you can tell from the sound sample, but you know how ukuleles can sound different from here to here. And maybe it's just a figment of my imagination, but I think it sounds better with the Martin strings. Fun uke. I left the strings long on it for right now because I wasn't sure if I was going to change it over to the friction pegs. Some players have done that already, is change it over to the friction pegs and gotten rid of the big ears here. And pretty good sustain. Anyway, that's my string sample, and I hope you enjoyed it. If not, you were probably bored stiff with it. But I think the Makala Waterman is a pretty good plastic uke. You can leave it in the car. Like I say, the fret paint is off of this one. You can see how far up the fret paint is off. But here's a McFerry Islander, probably 50 years old, and the fret paint is still on. There's no touch-ups there. So I don't know what the difference is in the paint or the makeup. One person said that in injection molding, and I had kind of forgotten this, that they spray the molds with some stuff kind of like spraying with Pam to allow the injection to pop out easily. And that could be what made it feel slippery at first on my first review, and it could also be why the paint doesn't adhere. Perhaps they need to be washed better before they're painted. And but otherwise, that's the only thing is the paint coming off the fretboard, headstock, and everything else. Everything sticks on. So here's the aesthetic difference. So you can see the fretboard shape is a little bit different. The OU is actually a little more martiny with the way the fretboard is shaped, where the McFerry has kind of indentation here. But otherwise, it's a fun uke. Have fun.